Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and in this video we are going to make not one, but two nut butters. But before we do that, if you enjoy low-carb cooking videos, product and ingredient reviews, as well as lessons learned from my experiences with the ketogenic lifestyle and intermittent fasting, click that subscribe button right down there, and while you're at it, click the bell next to it so you're notified whenever I release a new video. So why would you want to make your own nut butter? A couple reasons. First off, nut butter outside of peanut butter is pretty expensive. And if you've got a decent high-powered blender, like a BlendTec or a Vitamix or a Ninja, you can make it pretty easily. You can also make it pretty easily with a food processor. And that's what we're going to do today, because if I can make it on my 20-year-old food processor, yours probably will work just as well. For our first nut butter, we're going to be using pistachios, and we're going to measure out 12 ounces. We'll dump these into our food processor and turn it on. At some point between 30 seconds and a minute, you'll start to see that the nuts are kind of climbing up the edge of your food processor. At that point, I start using the pulse function to work all of that back down into the middle. At about 20 pulses, I turn the food processor back on. After about a second minute of processing, I'll usually add a little bit of oil, about a teaspoon of a nut oil, like almond oil or macadamia nut oil or pistachio oil. You could probably even use MCT oil. We'll pulse a couple of times and turn the processor back on. If after about 15 to 30 seconds you see it forming a ball that just sort of dances around on top of the blade, take a spatula and break that up. And we'll give it about another 30 seconds of processing. And you can see how this has all come together as a wonderful nut butter. Doesn't look so wonderful. Looks like something that either goes into a baby or comes out of a baby. And we'll put some of this on my world's best keto cracker, which I'll link to right up there. Very good. So this pistachio nut butter is great on crackers. It can be used in fat bombs. And I'm going to be using it in a couple of recipes that are going to be coming up on this channel, including a pistachio pudding. You can store this in a cupboard, and odds are it won't last long enough for it to go bad. So don't worry about that. In terms of macros on this pistachio butter, for a 2 tablespoon serving, you're looking at 2.5 grams of net carbs, 7 grams of fat, and 3 grams of protein. Now let's make some pecan butter. I didn't bother cleaning out my food processor because I figured a little pistachio isn't going to hurt me. 12 ounces of pecan halves. And turn on your food processor. So I've let this run for about 2 minutes straight. Now I'm going to scrape down the sides and add a little nut oil, almond oil again, just like I did with the pistachio butter. After my drizzle of oil, a few pulses, and then we'll run her again. About 30 seconds later, and our ball has turned into pecan butter. Now this pecan butter doesn't work nearly as well on its own or on a cracker. If you plan on putting it on crackers, I would add some sort of sweetener, stevia, whatever your choice is, and pulse that in. But the reason I made this batch without the stevia is we're going to use this in a couple of different recipes. And I don't want to give too much away, but you know, Christmas is coming up and holiday cookies maybe? In terms of macros on the pecan butter, you're looking at 0.5 grams of net carbs in a 2 tablespoon serving, 11 grams of fat, and 1.5 grams of protein. So hopefully you've seen just how easy this method is. Frankly, I think it's easier in a blender. It's a little bit less to clean up and it goes quite a bit faster. But you can make almond butter, you can make hazelnut butter, probably make your own Nutella. That could be a video. Cashew butter, although cashews are on the higher end of the carb scale when it comes to nuts. So if you do decide to make it, it's super delicious, but use it sparingly. So I hope with this video you've seen how easy it is to make your own nut butter at home for quite a bit less, especially if you're buying your nuts in bulk. So get out there, make some nut butter, unless of course you have a nut allergy, then don't. You probably should have stopped watching way before now if you've got a nut allergy. But for those of you who stuck around, thanks for watching.